The Donut Bag is brought to you by Penn Highway Marketplace, the marketplace for vintage goods, quality collectibles, and handmade crafts. It's where I get all my sports memorabilia. Go to facebook.com/Penn Highway. That's facebook.com/PENNHWY and mention I sent you. Hello. Once again, we are ranking every episode of The Office. This is, I believe, episode 4. Yeah, we are doing 155 to 146. So to check all of the episodes that I've done so far, look at my either the YouTube channel or my podcast page. So let's get into it. Number 155, season 9, episode 12, customer loyalty. Pam is excited about the possibility of being hired by the senator to paint a mural, and she forgets to tape a video of her daughter's ballet recital while Jim can't go to the recital due to a major investor bailing out. Nellie tries to repay Andy's letter for the adoption agency by getting Aaron and Pete to stop flirting with each other. Dwight finds a way to get Daryl to not quit the company. And yeah, the cold open was Jim played a prank on Dwight called Holy Grail. He did it years ago and never materialized. So he had all kinds of clues. The entire office was looking for it and ended up going to the warehouse, but then he couldn't find it. It turns out one of the warehouse guys had the Holy Grail. But that was kind of cute. Well, we'll go from least important to most important. The thing about between Dwight and Daryl, it was just cute how Dwight was trying to keep Daryl. He didn't want him to go to the new company. That's cute, and that was basically all that was basically his attempts to try to do that. Nellie saw that Aaron and Pete were flirting, and she tried to stop it, and she tried to make a big deal out of it. But okay, don't get me started about Andy. I hate him so much. The big thing was Pam. Cece had a dance recital, and Jim was so excited to see it, but he couldn't. He had to stay and work late or stay in Philadelphia. So Pam said she would record the recital. As she's recording it. She gets a call that she's going to get to do the mural. So she's so excited, and in all the confusion, she ends up not taping it, even though Jim specifically said, hey, make sure you tape it. I know you're going to do it on your phone. Just be careful. And she's like, yeah, whatever. But she messes it up. And when she talks to Jim and tells her, oh, by the way, I messed this up, he just goes off on her. And it was actually, this was nasty and ugly, and gosh, I mean, that he just really laid into her, and you could tell this whole Jim and Philly issue is really hard on Pam and hard on Jim also, and it just got really ugly to the point where Brian, the sound guy, who is the second worst character in the entire series, comes in to console her. And what's going on here, dude? That's just dumb. It's just I hate him so much. So that's how that ended pretty ugly. Number 154, season 8, episode 18, Last Day in Florida. So when Robert California reveals that he hates Nellie's business plan, Jim swings into action to keep Dwight from getting fired. Andy learns that Aaron is not going to return to Scranton. Meanwhile, Daryl and Toby compete for the right to sell Girl Scout cookies to Kevin. The cold open. This is another treasure. This is Dwight said before he left for Florida, whatever you do not open this treasure box. And so they did. And it was they all hide because they're afraid to open it, but Creed opens it, and it's just a picture of the office, and everybody's like, oh, and then a poison dart flies out. That was pretty good. And then they showed Dwight, he's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that was happening. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Aaron decided to stay, and that old lady was going to help her, and just Aaron is just weird. She was she boiled a Gatorade or something like that. She was just like randomly throwing pills into containers and stuff. It was really dumb. She FaceTimes Andy, and Andy, that's when Aaron says that she's not coming back. And so Andy decides to go down to Florida. Whoop-de-doo. I hated that story so much. But the main thing was, oh yeah, and the thing between Daryl and Toby competing for Kevin's Girl Scout cookies. Okay, and they did various things. Kevin noticed that he could get them to do whatever, so he had them singing and dancing and stuff. And at some point, Daryl and Toby decided it's not worth it. We're not gonna demean ourselves anymore. So that was a stupid story. The big thing was the end of their time in Florida, where Dwight is named vice president. So Robert California is playing golf with Jim, and he says, oh yeah, I hated this, but I couldn't get rid of it, so I'm just going to fire whoever the vice president is. I'm going to fire Dwight. And when Jim finds this out, he tries to tell Dwight, but Dwight says, nice prank, whatever. And Jim is about to head home, but he talks to Pam, and Pam says, you need to stop him. So he goes back, and he tries to stop him, and he fights Dwight, and they are just going back and forth, just physically fighting. It was a good physical battle. Dwight wins, and in all the commotion, Packer says, well, I'll be the vice president. And Dwight comes in and notices that Jim was right, that he was going to fire the vice president, and now that's Packer, so Packer gets fired. Also, Kathy doesn't come back, which is weird. Okay, I guess maybe she got fired too. I don't know, or maybe she just decided to stay in Florida. I don't know, but we never saw Kathy again. Number 153, season 9, episode 8, The Target. Angela and Dwight hire a hitman to attack Oscar for sleeping with Angela's husband, but Dwight finds himself unable to go along with it. When making a tower out of customer complaint cards, the office workers need one more to reach a ceiling, and Pam volunteers to have a complaint filed against her for the first time. Jim wants to go part-time at Dunder Mifflin, but to do this with his new venture, but he has to convince Stanley and Phyllis to take his clients when he's away, so he takes them to lunch. Yeah, Dwight, this was the whole Angela and Oscar and the senator thing, and at this point she wants, I guess she wants him dead. She wants, or at least hurt for sleeping with the senator. But Dwight stops him. It's his friend or something like that. I don't know. It was silly. It was just basically a continuation of that story. The customer complaint cards tower, that was cute. Pam just wanted to feel a part of the office, I guess, because she was down making the mural and she didn't really feel part of things anymore. So she volunteered. So she called the customer and told them a yo mama joke, or yo mama's so fat, or something like that. And then the customer immediately calls and files a complaint. But they also lost the customer, and Pam made fun of the client's mother, who just recently passed away. So, but they completed their tower, so whoop-de-doo. Jim took Stanley and Phyllis to lunch, and he's like, oh, you're buying us lunch, okay. And so Stanley bought like the most expensive food, the surf and turf with a side of lobster or something like that. It's crazy. And Phyllis got crazy drunk. She ripped out a prop giant bottle of wine. It was silly. At the end, they're like sleeping in the car. And they said, was like, yeah, well, we'll take care of you, we love you. So it's like, oh, that was cute. At the end, Dwight and Angela are with Toby, and they're asking questions about being gay, and I have no idea how any of them went through this scene with a straight face. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And who's it, Paul Lieberstein or whatever, whoever Toby is, he was just amazing acting, just amazing. How do you not laugh at that? Because I was dying the questions they were asking. So. Number 152, season 9, episode 19, Stairmageddon. While the elevator in the building is shut down for maintenance, Dwight and Clark devise a way to force Stanley to go on a sales call since the latter refuses to use the stairs. Now convinced he is destined to be a star, Andy looks for an agent. Jim and Pam talk with Toby and Ellie about their marital problems. And Angela helps the senator with an imminent PR crisis because the documentary is about to out that senator is being gay. So the whole thing with the stairs and Stanley and Dwight and Clark, that was cute. They Dwight hits him with a bull tranquilizer, so he's totally out, and they wrap him in bubble wrap and put him in a helmet and throw him down the stairs to get him out. So he's all, by the time he gets to the customer, he is all like drunk, intoxicated, whatever, high, and he still gets a sale because he's just going nonstop gaga over the customers' kids or grandkids or whatever, and they love that. So they got this huge sale. So Stanley ended up being happy, and then the stairs were still out when they got back, so he just tranquilized himself. He's like, get me back up there. So that was silly. The whole, this is I don't know. I every story involving Andy I hate so much, but this might be the worst. This was the start of his, Andy thinks he's going to be a star, so he goes crazy and he's looking for an agent. He found an agent. It was Roseanne Barr, or a character played by Roseanne Barr. And that was pretty goofy. The Angela, so the documentary is about to come out, and they call Oscar and Angela call the senator and say, hey, by the way, this documentary is going to come out, and it's going to probably tell everyone that you're gay. Oh, and that also I had an affair with Dwight. And oh, by the way, it'll talk about that affair with Oscar. So okay, bye. So the senator has a press conference with Angela right there, and Angela thinks that she's going to be the good wife, and they're going to he's going to deny everything. He's like, by the way, I'm gay, and then poor Angela has to stand there, and then he said, I want to thank Oscar for helping me realize that I'm gay or whatever. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I'm having an affair with my assistant, and he starts kissing the assistant. So poor Oscar got got cheated on also. That was pretty funny. The Jim and Pam are about to do marriage counseling, and Jim talks to Toby and Nellie talks to Pam, and they're just telling each other their problems about this whole Jim and Philly thing, and I don't know what comes of it. It's just they're just complaining about each other. I'll get into this whole story at some point. It just really, maybe in a minute or two, it just really ticks me off. I don't know what to think about it. But anyway, that's what happened there. Number 151, season 8, episode 11, trivia. Andy hopes to make up for sales deficiency by entering and winning a bar trivia competition, while Dwight flies to corporate headquarters in Florida to demand a management interview with Roberts. The cold open was they were all trying to be quiet, and they got their streak up to 20 minutes. But every time Kevin eats a candy bar, he yells, "Oh yeah!" I don't blame him. Candy bars are delicious. Hey, okay. I should start doing that. I should yell, "Oh yeah," after eating a candy bar. The whole thing about Dwight going to Florida, he wanted to become a manager within Sabre. He goes to meet Robert California, and Robert California blows him off, just makes up some excuses that you can't see me. Go talk to the COO or something like that. And Robert tells Gabe, hey, don't let him talk to that guy. Just listen to his speech and then just blow him off. Just totally dismissing him. Gabe calls himself the toilets because he handles all the crap from the outside and he just flushes it down, so that everybody else in the company doesn't have to deal with it. And that's what he tried to do with Dwight. He said, you just got flushed. Dwight twists his arm and says, take me to his house right now. I love this line. Dwight says to Gabe, listen, you're a perfectly fine toilet, but I'm just an extraordinary piece of crap. I love that. What a great line. But by the way, in Florida, the Sabre receptionist, I'm pretty sure is the lady in those Toyota commercials. So I almost bought a Toyota just watching this thing. It's like, oh my God, that's her. But the whole bar trivia thing. So Robert California told Andy, you need to double sales or something like that. And what Andy does to meet the sales quotas is he keeps buying paper, and he's just out of paper and out of money to do that. Oscar does this bar competition, and the winner gets $1,000 or something like that. So basically the whole office goes down to wherever this bar is, happens to be a gay bar, and enters. There's 3 teams. There's like the A team, the B team, and the C team, basically. And who was it? It was like the loser team was Kevin, Aaron, Meredith, and Kelly. And it was basically just like almost like a spoof of Slumdog Millionaire, where the kid only knew those answers because of unique circumstances that only he would know. So he doesn't know much, but he just knows those answers. And it's exactly what happened in this. It was really cute. It was funny that they thought they were just these trivia geniuses all of a sudden, then they go to another competition and get destroyed. So but that was pretty entertaining. Number 150, season 9, episode 18, promos. The promos for the Dunder Mifflin documentary have been released online, and the Scranton employees are horrified when moments they thought were where they thought the cameras were turned off are included. Andy becomes obsessed with web comments about him in the promos. And Jim and Daryl meet with Ryan Howard, not the former coworker, but the baseball player. And Dwight has there's a woman, there's a family that wants to negotiate a tractor lease with Dwight. The cold open was pretty disturbing. Phyllis was listening to 50 Shades of Grey on audio and just having orgasms, and the only thing, the whole office was complaining about it, and they decided there's nothing they could do. Dwight takes a bucket of water and just dumps it on her, and then they take away her ability to listen to the audio. Turns out Andy also likes 50 Shades of Grey, and they dump water on him too. Okay, that part was funny. So the commercials for the documentary have come out, and they noticed that things that they thought were not being filmed were being filmed, and basically everything was being filmed. It was very funny when they realized this. The whole office says they were filming all the time and we didn't know it, and then they turn and look right at the camera. That was very funny. The whole thing with Andy, people were making comments and Andy was going crazy, but anytime anybody would make a negative comment, Andy would go crazy. And it's just the start of the Andy goes insane storyline. The whole thing with Jim and Daryl meeting Ryan Howard, the baseball player, he's talking about this story where he's battling space, Darth Vader, blah, blah. Who cares? It was stupid. Dwight's girlfriend, or Dwight, this family shows up with this beautiful woman who's pretending to like Dwight, just to get him to negotiate a tractor lease, but Clark finds out it's a bad deal. She's just trying to seduce him for a tractor lease. But it turns out she actually does like him, and she tells him what's going on. So he negotiates a better deal, and he ends up dating this woman. So yeah, lots going on. Number 149, season 9, episode 20, Paper Plane. There's a paper plane contest between the employees. Jim and Pam try to get through their day without fighting using techniques learned in couples counseling. Andy shoots a safety video with Daryl's help, and Angela has fallen on hard times after her separation, but tries not to show it. So a lot of this episode was about a paper plane competition. In the cold open, Pam throws one, and Toby just happens to be walking by and hits Toby in the eye. So Toby has the rest of the episode in an eye patch. Apparently this was the least viewed episode in the entire series. That's pretty crazy. Jim and Pam were extremely annoying in this because everything was, I appreciate this, I appreciate that, I acknowledge this, I acknowledge that. If I could speak my truth, all this like marriage counseling jargon, but in reality they hate each other. Well, not they don't hate each other because they're very angry with each other about this Jim and Philly thing. At the end, Jim goes to Philly. He's getting in the cab, and it's obvious they're still very angry with each other. But Pam notices he forgot his umbrella, so she goes down to talk to him, or just goes to give it to him, and they have a big hug and kiss. So it looks like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Don't get me started about that. Thanks, story. Andy gets a job as in a safety video, but he has to wash his eyeballs out with a thing to pretend that he got chemicals in his eyes. He can't do it. Daryl gives him a pep talk. Whoever Roseanne Barr is playing, she yells at him, but he eventually does it. So Andy thinks he's going to be a star. What else? Oh, so Angela is basically she got into her own apartment. She's not doing well. Dwight finds out, and he basically throws the paper plane competition. Angela finds out that he's thrown it because Dwight's girlfriend goes to talk to him, and Dwight's girlfriend is like a foot taller than Angela, and says, we're taking pity on you. We're hoping you win, and that makes Angela so angry. So basically, Dwight and Angela basically throw the competition. Dwight ends up winning because Angela was just so angry with him. So that was that. Number 148, season 9, episodes 16 and 17. Moving on, parts 1 and 2. So Pam interviews for a job in Philadelphia, where the potential manager reminds her of Michael Scott. Dwight acquires the help of Angela in order to give her elderly Aunt Shirley a bath. And Andy finds out about Aaron and Pete and makes their life very uncomfortable. So right before the episode before this, Andy just came back from 3 months on a boat or something like that, and David Wallace thought he was still in Scranton, but he wasn't, and he was shocked to learn that Andy was out of town the whole time. And he says, "I'm not going to fire you, but you're on very thin ice." Andy was just horrible. He was so upset with Aaron for dumping him. Meanwhile, he treated her like crap. And so what he does is he hires Pete's old girlfriend just to make his life hell, and he hires Gabe to make Aaron's life hell, and they yell at each other the whole time. This is just so dumb. This is I'll say this 1,000 times. I hate Andy, and I hate any story he's in. This is one of his worst. The thing with Dwight and Angela, Angela goes to at this point, Angela's still with the senator, and she goes to Dwight's house to take care of the aunt, and the aunt is just really mean and angry and hits people and stuff. But Angela takes care of her and braids her hair and gives her a proper bath. And the aunt is very happy, and Dwight's happy, and everything seems like they should get together, but she says she can't because she's still with the senator. Pam interviews for a job in Philadelphia, and yeah, the guy is just like Michael Scott. He's Michael Scott without any humor. He's just extremely annoying. So I think Pam was actually excited about that, but what she wasn't excited about was that the job would basically be a receptionist. So for her, it would be a step back. And so she has dinner with Jim later that night, and she tells him she didn't get the job, and she says she likes the life in the life in Scranton. I'm just so I hate this story, and I'm trying to sympathize with Pam, but I just cannot. I don't know. I think you should support your partner when they want to make a career change. But every situation is different. But I think in this situation, she was being completely selfish. There was no reason to stay in Scranton, especially when you have an opportunity to have a much better career and a much better job to stay in Scranton. And that just really ticks me off. Also, Toby had this thing where he thought he was with Nellie, but Nellie just told him, like, please stop, I can't take you anymore. And Toby goes to visit the Scranton Strangler, and apparently the Scranton Strangler strangled Toby, so he couldn't talk or something like that. Like silly. Number 147, season 8, episode 16, After Hours. Dwight and Packer compete to be in charge of the Saber store by trying to romantically woo Nellie. Kathy bothers Jim in his room and tries to seduce him, only to be foiled with help from Dwight. And in Scranton, Andy has everyone to stay late to cover for their coworkers in Florida. The cold open was basically Pam, Angela, and Oscar just complaining about each other. Pam and Angela would complain about Oscar. Pam and Oscar would complain about Angela. Angela and Oscar would complain about Pam, and then they all complained about Andy. As it was okay. It was all cute when they all said unbelievable. That was kind of cute. And Val's boyfriend Brandon thinks that she's hooking up with Daryl behind his back because he sent her flirtatious texts, but he really didn't. He hasn't made any moves on her yet. The thing with Jim and Kathy was obviously trying to get with him, but when he told her, hey, it kind of looks like you're trying to seduce me, she's like, oh, what? No, how dare you? But it totally looked like she was going after him. Dwight and Packer were trying to get with Nellie, but Dwight could not do it because he doesn't think that that's how you should get ahead. So when it's time for Nellie to say, hey, come meet me in my let me go to your hotel room, he gives her the key, but he scratches out the key or something, the card or something like that, so she can't get in. And it was really cute where Jim tried to get rid of Kathy by telling Dwight that they have bed bugs, so he freaked out. And that didn't work. So then at the end, Jim told him he had bed bugs again, and he started spraying Kathy with something, and it was just cute at the end. They were at the end of the episode. Jim and Dwight were just eating banana splits or something like that in bed, and Nellie was trying to get in the room, and they were just playing quiet. That was cute. Yeah. Number 146, season 8, episode 1, The List. This was the season 8 premiere, and the cold open was everybody basically explaining what happened over the summer. So First of all, they were planking, and planking is just where you lie down somewhere. It's really dumb, I guess. But they explained that the search committee found they decided to hire Robert California as the regional manager. Robert California takes one look at the office, turns around, drives to Florida, convinces Joe Bennett that he should be CEO of her own company, and then he becomes CEO. He comes back, he names Andy the manager, and Dwight is just not taking it well. Pam is pregnant. Apparently, Jenna Fischer was pregnant in real life. Angela is pregnant too. I'm pretty sure Angela was not pregnant in real life. And Dwight, the planking problem got out of hand. So Dwight just basically forcibly forced people not to plank anymore. Stanley's thing was anytime anybody would ask him something, he was like, what you do is this and this and this, and then shove it up your butt. I think we should, more of us should do that. The main plot of this episode was introducing Robert California, and they found the list. He had a left side and a right side. And on the left side was Jim, Dwight, Oscar, Daryl, Andy, Toby, Phyllis, Angela, and Kevin. And on the right side, it was Stanley, Gabe, Kelly, Ryan, Old Man, Pam, Meredith, and Aaron. And what this was basically winners and losers, which is a horrible thing to do. He said at the end, winners prove me right and losers prove me wrong. It was really sweet that Andy went to bat for all the quote unquote losers. That he said, Stanley was good at sales, and he talked about what everybody was good at. He's like, well, except for Gabe. He's like, well, you're right about Gabe. He is a loser. But so that was kind of sweet of Andy to go to bat for his employees. That's it. So thanks for listening or watching, and I will keep on doing these, and they're getting better. They're getting a little bit better, so these are getting easier to do, but we are almost at the end of the season 8 and season 9 episodes, so we can get to the good stuff, all the Michael Scott stuff. So okay, thanks for listening or watching. Bye.